It's rock and roll, man. Yeah, let's just talk. I ran into you yesterday. We chatted a little bit, but then you sent me this video, this YouTube video.
Yes.
And I clicked on it, and it's you on the Bering Sea on Deadliest Catch. And I was like, what is this?
Yep.
Dude, and then I went back and listened to your story a little bit. You said you started fishing when you were 18. You started doing that.
Yeah, in 1998.
So tell me a little bit. Let's just start there. How did you start fishing?
So I never wanted to, but my older brother, he was on a boat, and I just graduated, and he actually was able to hire the new baiter. They needed the bait guy.
And you're living where right now?
I was living in Raymond, Washington.
Okay.
Yep.
And he was?
And he was in Dutch Harbor, Alaska.
Gotcha.
Yep. And he called me, and he said, he gave me the number for a business, South Atlantic Fisheries, and a guy named Francis Miller owned the boat. And he said, call this number and you'll be on a plane at 6 a.m. And I called it, and I was on it. And the only reason he called me is because as before 9/11, and so he needed me to bring him up some weed. Okay. That's the only reason he gave me the job.
You were a little mule.
Yeah, a little mule. Yeah, I did. I went up there, and right away, I mean, I remember being on the plane from Anchorage to King Salmon, and then King Salmon was a little 12-man plane with, like, you could see the air through the seams, you know, and there's these guys, they're all just like burly, they're just like, they got the beards that look like they could cut through steel, you know, and they got their Carhartts, and they're all just like these.
And you're 18-year-old
Yeah,
kid.
and I'm 18, and I'm like 135 pounds, and I got my gotcha silk shirt on, you know, my white tennis shoes and everything, looking like Hollywood. And we fly into Dutch, and it's like a cliff on one side and the ocean on the other side, and the runway is covered in ice. And we land and like skid sideways to the end of the, you know, and it was just like,
the adventure begins.
Yep, the adventure begins. And I went from there, and first it was, we had to do cod season before king crab, and the first trip was 49 days in a row. We went to St. Matthews Island with like 1,200. It took 3 deck loads of pots, 1,200 cod pots, and we fished around the entire island nonstop, 24 hours a day. And I worked 18 hours out of the 24. And it would be like snowing on one side and sunny on the other side, you know, and we were catching, the cod were so big that they couldn't go through any of the processing machines. It was a CP called the Mr. B, and so they all had to be hand filleted and packaged. There's all CDQ, and it was. And
you guys did that on deck too?
No, it was in a factory below the deck. Yeah, and I was always
on the boat, I should say.
Yeah, it was a catcher processor.
Oh, okay.
Yep. And so that was one of the deals where if I thought it was too tough on the deck, that I would be threatened that I was going to have to go process. You know, if it was too hard to, my brother, you know, he'd.
Oh, right.
You think this? You want to go process? You know.
Well, so prior to this, did you have any like fishing experience?
No, I had no.
So
fishing
you're just learning on the job. Your brother's teaching you, like.
My older brother, and he expects a lot out of me, and he would always tell me, he'd love to tell a story about me, because you have to land the pots at the rail.
Okay.
And so he's on one side and I'm on the other, and they'd get yanked out of my hands, you know what I mean? And I'd let go of the pot on my side, and so that means it swings out, you know, and it's dangerous so both guys had got to hold on to it, you know, and bring it in. And so then he would get so mad at me, and so I never let go of the pot, and I would be stretched out over the rail, like with my toes, my toes hanging on and then if I got pulled off, I would hang on to it, and I'd be swinging out. He loved this. He said I looked like an Ewok. He said, because I'd be flying sideways, and I'd swing out, and I'd get back over there, and I'd jump, I'd let go, and go rolling up on the deck, you know? Yeah, it was, and it was my brother and 4 of his friends were my crew, and everything was, oh, you think this bad is, wait till king crab, you know, you think this is bad, and it was like this threat, you know, like, because the bait setups were going to be heavier, you know. For cod, you just use jugs in a bag, and then for king crab, you've got to hang fish on them. They, you know.
So after you do that 49 days,
Yeah.
so straight, just
Yep.
non-stop.
No, I'd have the claw so bad I'd have to eat my cereal with 2 hands because I couldn't grip a spoon,
Yeah.
you know.
But my guess is too, you learned a shit ton of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And your body adapted.
Yep.
Probably put on a lot of muscle.
I put on a lot of muscle, and from that point on, there was no doubt in my mind that there's nothing I couldn't accomplish, couldn't achieve. You know, it was the regular world had nothing to compare to that.
Yeah.
And so there's any land job would be easy, you know. But and I hated it. I never wanted to fish ever again, and I wanted to quit so bad, but he wouldn't let me. And then I got home and I seen my paycheck, and
Your mind changed a little bit.
Yep, like, oh, well, that wasn't so bad, you know. And I was 18, and I was buying hot rods and everything else.
Well, so you work. What's the season? I don't know what the season is.
So the seasons
For cod, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so the cods, and that was the only time I actually did the cod season. Was that time on that boat, because I worked on that boat. We actually, I jumped off of there after a year, and I got on a much better boat, and we just did king crab, and that was in the fall.
Okay.
So
it starts in the fall.
Yep, starts in the fall. October 15th is the opening day, and so we would come up to Ballard and do the shipyard for like 6 to 8 weeks, you know, in the Fisherman's terminal. It was a lot of grinding and painting, and you know, you're getting the boat ready for the season.
Prepping.
Yep, and putting all the groceries on and everything. And so then you leave here out of Seattle, and you're gonna drive. We drive the boat up. I was on the Mystery Bay for like 13 years, and so we would drive the boat up, do king crab, and then we'd fly home after that, and then.
Well, how long? So October 15th?
Yeah.
So you're already out there right when October 15th.
Yep.
You're ready to go out there.
We're setting the gear right on, you know, as soon as the clock strikes midnight, or what, you know.
Gotcha.
So yep.
And then October 15th, and then when do you fly home?
So we'd fly home, you know. King crab season is usually, well, at the time it was like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah, king crab used to be really, really rough and long. We weren't catching a lot of crab, you know. It was like 8 crab to a pot, and you've got 600,000 pounds to catch, you know. So, but then it gradually got lower and lower quotas, and then the crab catch increased, and then, but the quotas just kept getting so low that it was, you know, so the king crab seasons were only like a week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they went
really
from months-long seasons to just a matter of days, or even just weeks, you know, because. The locos, and then so you'd come home for Christmas, and then we'd fly up January 3rd every year
and go back up.
Yep, for the winter season as Opies.
And so you're out dead of winter.
Yep.
Outside.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, just like the TV show.
Yep.
You're doing it.
Yep.
Man, any stories stick out to you?
Oh God, where do I start, man? The thing is, so the thing with the TV, it just doesn't capture the amount of misery that is because, you know, the thing is, what I loved about being on the boat is you wake up and you're at work, you know, and you got to walk through the kitchen to get to your job, and you don't have to like commute or anything, but still when you're looking outside and everything is just like frozen, it's all icy, and you know, and the waves are crashing, and it's just blistering wind, and you know you're going to be out there for the next 9 hours. You know, it takes the only thing that would get me.
This guy.
Yeah, I wrote a statement on the top of my bunk, so I'd look up, I'd wake up, and I'd look up, and it said.
Here, let's pause.
Yeah. I had a little saying, I had a little quote on my bunk. I'd open my eyes and I'd look up, and it says, "Get up, you're making thousands."
Money,
yeah.
I can be a big motivator.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's probably, like you said, the biggest.
Yeah,
You're not out there doing it for fun.
My best season was 2010. It was king crab. I made $64,000 in 2.5 days. The first day I made like 39 grand the one day.
Wow. And all the other guys are making that.
No, they actually made more than me. I was only a half share at the time.
Because of your experience?
Yeah, so like the skipper, the owner, he made $1.2 million in 2 days.
Wow.
You know, the skipper, he grossed like, 350 grand for his, 2 days, and it just trickles down from there.
Well, let's hear some of a story about some
how about
danger. I don't know.
So we're steaming with my friend Corey Gooden is driving the boat, and we're all sleeping. And this is like a mud boat. It's 185 foot by 42 feet, and the wheelhouse is like 50 feet off the water. And so it's got a really sharp bow. Well, he's driving, and he hit a wave, and it shot all the windows out. And he was in his flip-flops and his boxers, and it blew him through the dog down door. It blew him straight through the door, knocked it off the hinges, and it bent the seat over, like bent the captain's chair all the way back.
And you guys are in the middle of the ocean.
In the middle of the ocean.
What do you do? Call?
Yeah, all the electronics are ruined. You just you got your you got your navigational. All you got is the compass.
And let's go back.
Yep. And so, it's
that guy was Corey okay?
Oh yeah, he was fine. Yeah, it's amazing the things that the human body can withstand. It's seen a lot of things that baffled me. Like just you'd think that that water when it hits, I'd seen it take a crab pot and shove it through the scupper, and it's a 7-foot steel crab pot, and the scupper's like 1 foot by 2 feet, and it was pushed it halfway out of the, it was like mushroomed out there, so we had to cut it out of the scupper. And God, I seen it. We had a wave cave in the whole bow one time.
Just the water.
Just the water. Just the water hit so hard that it caved the whole side of the bow in.
And now, when you're going through these experiences, are you like, I'm gonna die?
No, I never once have ever had any fear on the ocean, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I actually the rougher it is, the more I enjoy it, because it's like a wild ride, and with working on the water, especially with the amount of labor that's involved with crab fishing, it's a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of moving weight, but with the ocean, there's a certain momentum that happens.
Because you're moving up and down.
So you take and you make everything that you do, you lift at the top of and so it becomes weightless.
Interesting. Yeah, 'cause the gravity's.
Yep.
I mean, gravity's the same, but.
Instead, like if you were to do the opposite, so if you're trying to lift against it,
sure.
It's like 3 times as heavy.
But you use it in your favor.
And so that's where a lot of guys they get so wiped out because they're always trying to hustle and hurry, but they're killing themselves because they're working against that. You got to. It's a whole rhythm and a dance that you do, and the guys who have experience, they're gonna they're gonna let you have whatever pause you need to take. You're not gonna kill yourself, lift against it. That's what these guys they until they figure that out, you just watch them beat themselves.
And you don't tell them?
No,
because no one told you.
No, I tell them all, and they're just so lost in the moment. They don't hear anything. What I mean? The guys that they come up and they're new, and they just it's such an intense thing that they're just trying to trying to
you
survive.
Come up, start talking about rhythm and dance, and they're like, what?
Yeah. And so that's how that's the only way you can have a career in the industry and the longevity, because the amount of toll it takes on you. You have to be able to to do it like that, you know.
Yeah. And so when did these TV shows start showing up? And
so the TV shows, they actually, you're gonna love this. In 1998 was my first season. Well, I was on the boat. My older brother and I went to the elbow room in '99, and we met a guy named it was Gary and Todd Stanley and Gary Stanley, and they did documentaries on like kayaking, extreme kayaking, and bull riding, and like Hell's Angels.
Yeah.
And so they were coming up to do a documentary. And my older brother, who's dead, he died in 2001, but he was telling them that he wanted to have like a TV show, like Sports Center, you know, and to have cameras on the boats that would record the catches and capture like the highlights, you know. And I'm pretty sure we gave them the idea for the show.
He pitched them the idea.
Yeah.
They said, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Next
thing you know.
And then so they started filming in like 2001 and something like that, and I was always on the boat where they didn't allow the camera crews because we were strictly business, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Some people opt out. Whatever.
Yep. And so, but I would always be jealous because you see them turning into these like rock stars, you know.
Yeah.
And they've got camera crews following them around and helicopters and everything else.
It's
you know.
probably it pumps up the ego. But.
Yeah. And so, but the rest of the fleet, they consider these TV guys, they're like wannabes or scabs. They call them scab boats, you know. And so you're like with it, you're like, yeah, screw those guys, you know. But secretly you're like, oh, I want to be that guy.
Of course.
And then so the big boat I was on, it was dismantled in 2013 because the quotas were so low that it just it wasn't feasible to operate, you know.
And the numbers didn't make sense.
It didn't make sense, and so we dismantled, and it went on charter, and so I was a free agent, and I became what you call a boat whore. I just went from boat to boat to boat. I'd spent like 10 and a half to 11 months, at sea, because I'd get done with one season on one boat, and somebody else was going to be, and I just jumped from one boat to the next.
Make good money, I guess?
Oh yeah, I was making so much money, but I wasn't able to spend it because I was always at work, you know. So, but
it's going in the bank account, right?
Yeah, luckily for me, I had a very wise employer that started funneling some money for me for when I turned 60. You know, I'll have. He told me that with the amount of money and the interest, the way it is, and I'll get it when I'm 60, that I'll never have to worry about money again. And I think that's pretty cool. So I just retired at 40.
Gotcha.
And with no money. Well, I spent 2 years going through my savings. You know, I had like 180 grand that I blew through in a couple years.
How do you blow through 180 grand?
Well, I had a high maintenance girlfriend. I was renting a place up on Queen Anne Hill, and you know, I mean, going to just matchy gold outfits, and the dogs got gold chains, you know, a lot of gold.
Yeah. A lot of gold.
Dinners, you know, every time we went to dinner, it was like $200-300. You know, it was just like,
you're living the high life.
Yeah, definitely. You know,
well, let's see. When did you get on a boat with the camera crews and all that stuff?
That was in 2015. It was my first. That was on the Saga. And then I went on the Saga. That one year I did king crab on the Saga, and then I jumped ship and went on the same day I left the Saga. I went on over to the Wizard.
Well, that episode that I saw, you got kicked off.
Yeah. Well,
and is that real? Is that like what happened?
So I started with Elliot, and we were gonna have a really great season, and then his demons kind of came out, and it turned into a really horrible season for everybody. And so I jumped ship at the end of that season, and I went on the then I went on the Wizard.
It had cameras on it too.
Yeah, and
who's the captain on that one? I forget.
That was Keith Colburn.
Keith, that's right.
Except for Keith wasn't on the boat; it was for Baradai.
Okay.
Keith and Freddie were taking leave, and so Monty, his brother, was driving it for Baradai, and so I went with Monty, and we did about a month and a half, and caught a bunch of crab, and it was a really good deal. But I was just a fill-in deal for the one trip, and so then.
So all those boats have like their guys.
Yeah, the other guys, yeah.
And to kind of get in with that, one guy has to lead. There's got to be an opening, and I'm
Yep.
sure there's someone waiting always.
Always, yeah. And so, and then I went on the Cape Caution with Wild Bill and Zach and one of my really good friends, Nick McLaughlin. And Nick, I knew him from. We worked on the Mariner boats. There's a fleet of Mariner. There's like the Western Mariner, the Northern Mariner, the Eastern Mariner. These Mariner boats, and that was back in the day. And
it's all king crab.
Yeah, king crab boats and catcher boats, and Nick and I always had our substance abuse issues, you know.
Yeah.
And he actually he got sober for a few years, and then this fentanyl thing came out, and so whatever opiates he had experimented with before and quit, then this fentanyl came on the scene, and he was one of those people that had to try it, and it was, you know, like the first and the last time, you know. Yeah, he was found dead, overdosed. Yeah, it was a really bad, sad deal because he was really doing so good, and then it was just like, yeah, you just, you know, found, and there's a lot of. I'm pretty sure that I'm like, for the generation of fishermen, you know, there's not a lot of the guys that I worked with that are alive at all, you know, because of fishing incident, that people that have died on the boats, or issues, you know, at home with different deals. It's just like these crab fishermen, their lives are just so chaotic. You know, it's like the one guy, you know, it's just, you know, a lot of truck, a lot of vehicle, you know, collisions. You know, guys that are.
What do you mean, that buy fast cars?
Yeah, just buy fast cars, and they're usually intoxicated, and you know, having to push the envelope to try and fulfill that extreme, you know, that extreme. What is it? The
adrenaline, man.
The adrenaline. Yeah. Yep. And so it's, yeah, for me, the when I really feel alive is hauling gear on the Bering Sea, and you know, you're just healthy, and everything is just, you know, you're getting, yeah, it's like riding a bull, man, and it's nothing better, you know. But
I bet.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about your current situation. Let's see. We talked, and you said, I was listening to your story last time, and the crab kind of dwindled out, and then there's no work.
Well, yeah. So the crab species in the Bering Sea have taken a hard hit, and I was just trying to figure out why. You know, it wasn't like a mismanagement of the fisheries, because they do a really good job of the quota systems and all that, but and I don't think it's the global warming so much as I'm truly set now to believe that the Fukushima earthquake with the
Tsunami.
The tsunami and the radioactive the meltdowns that they've been dealing with ever since, you know, affected everything, and it's because they're flushed. They have to cool all these things with the seawater. So it comes in seawater, and it goes out toxic waste, and it goes right into the jet streams of the oceans, and it's just, I'm pretty sure it just makes so much sense, you know, because I don't know if there's any if that's any validity to that or not, but that's what I'm dead set on. Because
was that contributed to you getting put out of work? Yeah,
so the numbers, when, like I said, every year we've got less and less and less until 3 years ago they said no, you can't have any more crab seasons because there's no crab.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's when things here kind of dwindled and
yep.
fell
And
apart.
so I spent 2 years going through my savings, and I just was waiting to, you just figured you're just gonna go, as always. I never worried about money because it was, you was gonna go fishing and make some more, and that would be, that it didn't matter how low your savings got, but then, there just wasn't any more fish, and I tried doing the Dungeness crab thing too, and that's been wiped out almost completely as well. And so I strictly just do salmon, the salmon seasons in the summer up in Bristol Bay. And this last year I came home and I didn't go home. I stayed here in town and camped out in the streets of Ballard all summer, and then now it's getting into winter. I was supposed to be just here for the summer, but it's going to be winter now, and I really don't know what I'm going to do, but I've been through enough to where my mom she always says that I'm resilient, so that I've always been pretty resilient.
Well, if you're, like I said, we looked at your tiny home over there you built. Mm-hmm. You got to be resilient if you're living on the streets and surviving. Mm-hmm. And that's no easy task. Yeah. And we were talking earlier, we were texting, he said, hey, I got to take a shower, and I was so curious about that. I thought, man, I walk from my bedroom to the bathroom and take a shower. Yeah. What is that process like for you?
Well, for me, what I've found that works great is my location, the U-Haul business right next door. They have a spigot, and they have a hot water, and so they let me. So I have this blue, like the recycle bin trash cans, that I scrub really clean, and so it's like spotless. And then so I wheel it over there, and I fill it up about halfway, and I wheel it home, and I take it, and I get in it, and
you jump in.
I jump in it, and I love it. It's like it's big enough you could get under.
That is resourceful. Resourceful how it works, man.
Because I know there's communities that there's showers that they offer, and I went to them one time, and it was just, I'd rather just.
Well, you figured out a way.
Yeah, I figured out a way, and it's just really convenient, and it's just my own mess instead of thousands of people that are, using the same shower. So, but yeah, it's like it's not hard for me because I've been through, I've been through such extreme.
Yeah.
Right. So that
it's not. Yeah. At the same time, I was like, what do you want? What would be the ideal for you?
Yeah.
Like get on a boat again, make some money. I don't know. Tell me.
Yeah, that's probably. I've been putting in applications on a number of different. I'm probably gonna go on a trawler, big factory trawlers, or draggers. It's easier. It's an easier career, and it's one that you can maintain through your latter years and still make a decent living. But it's crazy because the idea now actually kind of it's not that it scares me, but it's almost like, I don't know. So there's been a change. There's been a change in me to where it's, I used to be so excited to get on, onto the next season, and I almost dread it now because I know it's waiting for me. It's your freedom's taken away. So right now I feel like I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, because I'm my own. I'm in charge of
full autonomy.
Full autonomy.
But if you're stuck on a boat.
You're stuck on a boat. You sign your contract. You're
limits, right?
Yep. You're committed to it.
Just for a season, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. It's like, if you wake up and it's like, these days I wake up and if I want to lay there for a little while, I'll lay there for a little while. If I don't, I'll get, and so, but yeah,
Have they offered you housing, and have you got offered housing?
I haven't gotten offered any housing yet, but I haven't really. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with me.
Because sweeps are coming down.
Yeah, sweeps. Yeah.
Happening about a lot. And,
Yep.
Like you've experienced a sweep, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I was right here on the 11th, the last time that
we talked.
we got
right?
swept, and that was like my first sweep, and I was in a tent, and it was like they gave us they gave us a new tent. That's what happened. Yeah, they took our old one and threw it away, and they gave us a new one, and we went around the block.
That was the sweep.
And that was the sweep. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And that's what they do every day. Every time they do these sweeps, they get these encampments that are piling up enough, making enough of a scene that people are upset with it, and then so they come in and they boot everybody out and throw everything away, and then they just give them brand new stuff and put them around the corner.
Yeah. Well, my hope is the next time they will sweep you, because that's what happens.
Well, and
the city
everybody-
does.
yeah.
But I hope they say, "Hey,
Yeah.
do you want housing?"
Yeah, yeah, I'm hoping that too. It seems like everybody is getting housing right now. The guys, most of the people that were out here through the summer and that I've known, you don't see them anymore because they're.
See, not everybody.
Well, not everybody. That's
it
true.
seemed like a lot of people did get housing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Tiny homes or whatever.
Yeah. I think I talked to people too. Tiny homes are temporary.
Yeah.
Not permanent. Like
no.
housing.
Yeah.
Cool, Jerry, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for talking this morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. It's good to see you. Right on, man. I'm gonna grab some pictures. Yeah, dude. That was good to see you, man.
Yeah, dude.
Some stories.
Yeah, dude.
We got that little mic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.